All right, 61-52 is the final. Number 7 Michigan gets it done today, Sam, against the number 19 Badgers. A revenge game, so to speak. It's a great basketball game. We have to throw that out there. But today was all about Charles Matthews in the end. 16 second half points, 18 total, and he hit the 2 key big jumpers there for the Wolverines to seal this game.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it was kind of an eerily similar game to the one at the Kohl Center earlier this season. That one I think was 27-25. This one was not at the half. And then you had Ignaz Brazdeikis go scoreless in that game. Didn't have a good offensive game in this one. But difference in this game, Charles Matthews in the second half, and instead of Wisconsin pulling away down the stretch, Michigan pulled away down the stretch. And really, with Charles, 16 of his 18 points came after the break. And it was about how he got going to me. It's been my belief that his mid-range game is the key to really getting him going. And he, in this year, has really shown the ability to get some offense with his back to the basket. I think post touches for Charles Matthews is good offense for Michigan. So his first 2 baskets that really got him going in the second half came when he dribbled into some post looks. One, he was able to turn and go and get a layup. The other one, he was able to get a turnaround jumper out of, and that got him rolling. And Greg Gard made the same observation. He said, those post looks got him some confidence. And once he got confidence, he really got rolling. And that was the difference in the game for Michigan. A guy in Charles Matthews that just had it dialed up offensively, not just for himself, but for others. He was able to find John Teske for a big and one. So Charles absolutely huge for Michigan today.
Yeah, and he's definitely become Mr. Clutch for the Wolverines as of late. Obviously had the game winner against Minnesota. Transitioning over to the big man battle, and boy was it. John Teske against Ethan Happ. Happ did everything for Wisconsin today, mostly in the first half, though. That's where he was most effective. He had 14 of his 18 points in that first half. Got in a little bit of foul trouble, and Teske sort of did, and you could tell Teske wasn't going to try to be too aggressive defensively. Yeah. And then in the second half, the tides turned. Happ got that third foul early, and then Teske sort of did his way there in the post.
Try to be physical without fouling. I think the referees left something to be desired today with how much they let go, specifically on Wisconsin's side. I thought Happ got away with a lot of fouls today, but eventually it caught up with him. He got 2 late first half fouls, and then a foul early in the second half really affected him. But man, you talk about a guy who has 35 post moves, man. I mean, to me, he reminds me, and old school Big Ten fans will appreciate this, he reminds me of Kevin McHale. Yeah. I didn't see him play at Minnesota. I saw him play with the Celtics, though. And when you watch the array of post moves that Ethan Happ will throw at you, I mean, he's just a tough cover. And so Michigan's game plan in the first half was to play him straight up, be physical, wall up without fouling. And that guy was able to make tough twos. He scored over John Teske. He scored around John Teske. Really didn't slow him down until they started running doubles at him, forced him into some tougher looks, made him pass the basketball. That threw him off a little bit, and then he picked up the second foul. In the second half, third foul kind of got him out of a rhythm, but when he got back on the floor, give John Teske credit, because he forced him into his 4th, his 5th move. Happ wasn't as effective in executing and completing those plays in the second half. Only had 4 second half points. That was a huge key in this game, what John Teske was able to do against him in the second half, and even gave him some offense too.
Yeah, 17 points, 12 rebounds for Teske, even added 3 blocks. So we've had a huge game for the Wolverines. And then moving on down the stretch run here for Michigan. There's some tough basketball games coming up on the schedule. Obviously, they got to go on the road, play at Penn State this Tuesday, but then they have a home-and-home with Maryland and a home-and-home with the rivals from up the road at Michigan State. Yeah, it's not going to be easy for Michigan, especially with other teams like Purdue that are right there with them, have easier schedules.
I said before the season that I thought Michigan was the best team in the Big Ten. Nothing that I've seen thus far makes that belief any less strong. I think that the issue for Michigan is, as you laid out, their schedule is the toughest down the stretch. You got to play a Maryland team with as good a 1-2 punch as there is in the league, and Anthony Cowan, and of course the big man Bruno Fernando. That's going to be another challenge for John Teske. I actually like that matchup better than the Ethan Happ matchup. So, but then you got to play Michigan State twice. While Michigan State is a team that's certainly been in a little bit of a funk lately. They're going to have Josh Langford for the rest of the way. I think it's about them figuring out who that number 2 is. Is there another guy on that squad that you can give it to in crunch time situations that can maybe create at least a little bit so all that burden isn't on Cassius Winston? But we've seen them play at length without Josh Langford in the lineup. You know, when they share the basketball, they can be tough. They're physical. They play good defense. They're beasts in the post at times. So it's going to be a really, really tough road to hoe for Michigan schedule-wise compared to a team like Purdue, whose schedule just isn't as tough as Michigan. So you could almost see them, because of that schedule, by default staying up there. But right now, who's playing the best? Look, Charles Matthews, what he was able to do today, I think is a textbook example of when you look at Michigan, unless you have two of their big three really just, throwing up a big goose egg like they did against Wisconsin, they're going to be really, really tough because the defense is going to travel, and you're going to have at least one guy capable of going off today. That was Charles. I think that for them, it'll be about the bench. If they can maintain this level of defense, which I expect them to, steal one of those games on the road. I still like them in the Big Ten. This was a big game today because I think Wisconsin is the second best team in the league. It may not say that in the standings right now, but look at how they're playing. There isn't a team other than Michigan playing better than Wisconsin right now. So we'll see if that holds up. But like you said, really tough road to hoe for Michigan down the stretch.
Well, as John Beilein alluded to it in his press conference, you got to carpe diem, seize the day, seize the moment. Michigan's going to enjoy this one as they get ready for Penn State this Tuesday.